Hi everybody, welcome to this month's calligraphy techniques video. This is a special video because it goes along with the calligraphy kit that we gave out earlier this month. I really love this technique because it's super simple and anybody can do it. So let's get started and see what's inside your calligraphy kit. So the first thing you'll find is a folder. It can be one of many colors, and inside your folder you'll find some mixed media paper. This paper is good to use with markers, pencils, pens, crayons, basically anything you could think of. Next we have our calligraphy guide. So this is just where I wrote little tips and tricks on how to make your calligraphy a little bit better and different ways to use different mediums. And then we have practice sheets, where you can trace the letters and practice some calligraphy. Next, you'll find some watercolor paints. And finally, you'll find two different calligraphy markers. They're both dual-ended, and we have one in black and one in blue. So you'll see that they come with a thinner side and they also come with a thicker side. So having the dual-ended markers will also give you a lot of opportunity to do something different. Alright, so let's see what else you'll need. You'll also need a pencil and an eraser. And you'll need a cup of water for your watercolor paints. Okay, now that you got all your supplies together, let's get started. So using the mixed media paper, I'm going to start out by doing a rough sketch of where I want the wreath to go. I'm using light, sketchy lines here, just kind of putting the basic shape of the wreath and then doing just little circles and little lines for some flowers and leaves wherever I think that they should go. Keeping this very loose and very organic. We'll go into the details later. Right now I just want to make sure that I give enough space for each flower and each leaf and make sure that it looks well balanced. Just doing really quickly a sketch of what I want the calligraphy inside the wreath to say. Now I'm going over it all with an eraser to make the lines really light and hardly visible. I don't want any of the pencil lines to show through the watercolor. So now I'm taking my watercolor paints. I'm using different paints here than the ones that are in the kit, but they work basically the same. So I'm taking some water and placing it onto the paint pan and mixing it together until I get a consistency that I like. Remember that the more water that you add, the lighter the color will be. So if you want your red to come out as a pastel pink, add lots and lots of water to the pan. So here I'm just using different colors and using them to create circle shapes that are later going to be turned into our flowers. Here I'm using a lot of purple at one time because I don't want to have to keep cleaning the brush in between, so I'm just doing all the places where I would like it to be purple, and then you'll see I clean the brush and then go into red, and now I'm doing a bunch of different places where I want the red to be. This just helps your paints not get all muddy together, and it kind of helps it go a little bit faster too. Now you'll see here that I accidentally put two complementary colors next to each other. So complementary colors are colors that are opposite from each other on the color wheel. And when they're mixed together, they form a brown. So you'll see that when I put the orange right next to the blue, it mixed together and made the orange start looking really brown and kind of muddy and not the way that I want it to look. So I dabbed off the color before it could dry, and then I put red on top, and then I'm going around it with some purple. Complementary colors look really nice when they're next to each other, but try not to mix them. Now I'm going in with a green to create the leaves. So here I'm dabbing off some excess paint and just adding some final touches, and then we're gonna let it dry completely. Okay, once your painting is mostly dry, just tap it a little bit just to make sure that there's no wet spots. So now I'm going in with my black calligraphy marker, and I'm starting to outline and add some details to the leaves. Now I'm going in and starting to add some petals to the flowers. The best part about this technique is that you don't have to be precise at all. So as you can see, I'm just using squiggly random lines to outline the flower first, and then going in the center and creating some petals. So you'll see that there's really no pattern to these flowers, it's just kind of doing whatever you want to do. Adding lines wherever you think a petal should be, and making them squiggly and doing it fast. I like this technique because not only is it super simple and super fun, but the way that the lines look also give a lot of movement to this piece, which I think is really nice for spring because like everything is blooming, things are moving, it's nicer outside, so I like that it gives it a little bit of movement and energy. Now that you're done tracing the flowers and the leaves, I'm going to start going in with the thick side of the blue marker. So I'm holding it so that the nib is perfectly straight so that I can get the font that I want, which is a font that is thick on the vertical strokes and thin on the horizontal strokes. Now I'm taking the thin side of the blue marker and I'm going into the cursive calligraphy. Now I'm adding some more width to the downward strokes. And here I'm adding a little flourish right at the end. So once you finish with your calligraphy, you're all done. I hope you enjoyed this month's calligraphy techniques video. Please let us know if you have any suggestions or comments, and I hope you have fun with your new calligraphy kit. Thanks for watching, everybody.